Hey guys, it has been a while and I have so many updates to give you, and I am just going to jump right into them. So first update is chemo is over. I purchased this shirt to wear to my last chemo. However, it didn't work out that way because I was having trouble with my port Thursday night. So my last chemo was scheduled for Friday. Thursday night, noticed it was red, noticed it was tender, and I was like, well, maybe I'll just wait until Friday morning and see how it looks. So I woke up in the middle of the night, Thursday night, and I noticed it was more and more red, and it was definitely more tender. So I did what any reasonable person would do, and I Googled it, and I saw everything from just a port infection to maybe your port is broken. So I kind of started freaking out at that point, like this could be serious. And I worry so much because this goes into a blood vessel that of course feeds into the rest of your body. So the drugs work that way, and so would infections. So I was really freaked out. I didn't want an infection going to my entire body. So I called my oncologist. She said, go to the emergency room. And the emergency room doctor did not want to touch it because it had a little pocket of like pus. It looked like a little whitehead. So he was pretty freaked out about it. He's like, oh, this is legit. He's like, I don't want to touch it. So they had to transport me to the hospital because our emergency room is freestanding. It's not attached to a hospital. So I had to get transported in an ambulance to a hospital. And definitely was infected. It still started to get even lower and tender. So my breast surgeon came Saturday morning and removed my port bedside. So she had all of her surgical tools. A lot of the nurses on the floor were really surprised. They hadn't seen that done before. And she just numbed it, and she put a lot of pressure on that thing and taking it out and using the scissors and clipping it, and just hearing that sound. It was definitely interesting, but I'm all sutured up here. I'll get these stitches out in probably about a week. What was really cool that happened was my oncologist visited while she was rounding, and I said, do I have to do my last chemo? Like, I was so close, I've been doing so good. And she said no. So at that point I was officially done. So I never had a chance to wear my shirt to my last chemo, so I'm just wearing it today. So that was really exciting news, just to keep on track with everything that has been scheduled. So that was wonderful. Now that chemo is over, I feel so good. Like, I forgot what it felt like to feel like me, just to have the energy to like do things like go to Target, like going there by myself and wanting to go shopping other stores at the same time. And it's just like all this energy that I have, it just like, I really forgot what it felt like to feel like me. And it feels amazing. This past weekend, I was cooking in the kitchen, doing meal preps on Sunday, which is what I would always love to do too. And I was back doing those same things. I just feel so good. And I am just so proud of myself that I did it. Like, I did chemo. It's like, God, it's just a really cool feeling to be done with it and to know that I did it. So that was really cool too. Surgery is scheduled for, so this is for my mastectomy. Surgery is scheduled for May 14th. So it was initially scheduled for May 28th. Now it's May 14th. They moved it up because when they initially scheduled it, I hadn't even made a decision on what I wanted to do. So I didn't know what they were scheduling it on. So I went in for another consultation with the plastic surgeon. And it's kind of funny the way it worked out, because they thought, I'm not sure who, maybe it was the scheduling staff, thought I was there for a pre-op. So they actually gave me a different doctor. That doctor, this newer doctor, really explained my options so much better than the first doctor, who is still my plastic surgeon. But as far as a unilateral mastectomy versus a bilateral, both of them, and the way he explained it to us was that my chance of getting breast cancer in my other breast is just the same as anybody else out there right now, like who you could say is my age. If they've never had breast cancer, that person has the same chance as I do of getting breast cancer in this breast. So once I realized that and thought about it, I felt so much better about keeping my left breast versus having the bilateral mastectomy done. So that's the decision I'm moving forward with, is just to have the right breast removed. And what will happen after that is I will go in for radiation. So I'll have the mastectomy, I'll have radiation about 5 to 6 weeks later, 30 rounds of radiation. So I will be going every day, 5 days a week for 6 weeks. After that, I have to wait 6 months for reconstruction. That's where we decided to do the deep flap, which I talked about in my last video. So they'll be taking my belly to reconstruct my right breast. You have to wait until the skin heals from the radiation, because it does a lot of damage to your skin. So we're going to move forward with the deep flap. One of the really cool things that I want to share that I haven't shared this on Instagram either, was a conversation I had with my breast surgeon. So I had to do with my MRI results. So I had an MRI last week, and when I was meeting with my oncologist, she explained that the mass was only 1.5 centimeters by maybe 2.5 centimeters, which was so exciting because it started at 8 centimeters. So just to know that everything I've been through these last 5 months through chemo really has been working. That was super exciting for my oncologist. My breast surgeon called me the next day after my appointment, and she didn't realize I already had my results. So she explained that I had 1.5 centimeters, just like my oncologist explained, but she said that 1.5 centimeters just might be scar tissue. I just thought, like, that's awesome, because even though it was 1.5 centimeters, I was still like hoping there wouldn't be anything on the MRI result. So I'm a bit of an overachiever. So 1.5 centimeters is great, but I was still kind of disappointed. Like, man, I was really hoping they wouldn't find anything. So hearing that from my breast surgeon, that it could be scar tissue, is really cool. The coolest thing that I'm so excited about is about my lymph nodes. So initially my plan was to have a full dissection of my lymph nodes, which can cause medical problems down the road. My breast surgeon said because none of them were enlarged on my MRI, that she's willing to do what she called a sentinel, I think that's the word, lymph node removal, to where she's gonna just take a few lymph nodes out during my mastectomy, send them to pathology. It takes about an hour to get the results, but if it comes back negative for cancer, she's just gonna leave them in there. Of course, if it comes back positive, then she'll have to take them all out. So this was like big news for me, because I was just been like worried about the full dissection of the lymph nodes, and the fact that, like I mentioned, the medical problems that will happen in the future, like lymphedema, having to deal with that the rest of my life. So like this was just like amazing. And even if it doesn't work out and I have to have all of them taken out, it's just really cool to just have that option right now. And it's not just, hey, you have to have them taken out. It's almost like, hey, there's a chance I might not. And that was just exciting. So hair regrowth. My hair has been growing so well, and I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to take my wig off for you so you can see how well. I am 2 weeks out from chemo. My hair started growing back after the 6th round of Taxol, which would have been the complete 10th round of chemo overall. So, you ready? Okay. So here it is. What do you think? It's pretty cool, right? Like, it's so soft too. You can see, I don't know if you can see this because I feel like more hair is going in, but there was kind of like this bald spot a little bit in the front. And if you look at my wig, I kind of felt like this is the inside of my wig. This is all lace right here, and I kind of felt like, I don't know if you can see it, but like I felt like it kind of mirrored each other. Maybe I thought like because of the lace there that it was causing this not to grow as fast. But it feels really good not to wear a wig actually. So so that's been going on too. So it just feels great to be rounding this corner. Last thing I want to talk about, which I've kind of unofficially started, and maybe I'll do it all the time, I don't know, but it's what I call Mom's message. And my message to you is something I've learned recently, and I just had some thoughts around it. So my husband went to high school with this guy, a couple years older than him, and he passed away recently. And it was shocking because he's in his 40s, and I remember asking even my husband, like, what happened? Like, how did he die? And he didn't know. My husband didn't know. Ended up going to this gathering with friends from high school, and when he got back, I said, did you find out what happened? And he said, no, it just didn't feel like the right time. Nobody was really talking about it. I'm like, that's cool. I was just really curious. So my husband ended up going out with some buddies for lunch, and I said, surely they're going to talk about it because they all went to high school together. Like, kind of figure out like what happened. And you know, at this point, honestly, I was just curious, borderline nosy. And you know, when I told myself that, I thought, Mon, what does it matter how he died? It matters how he lived. And as soon as I told myself that, I didn't ask my husband anymore because it was the truth. And I thought about my life, and when I die, I don't want anybody talking about how I died. It's not important. What matters is how I lived. And I would hope that people would see how much I loved, how much I've helped people, how much I love mentoring people and coaching people and developing people. And I want to be known for just helping. Like, that's what I love doing, no matter what it is. I don't have this specialty in helping people with anything specific. I just love helping people. It doesn't matter what it is. And that's what I want my legacy to be and to live on through my children is that trait about myself. And it just like, I don't plan on dying from breast cancer. I plan on dying from old age. And please don't talk about how I died. That's all I ask. And it's just something for you to consider too, is what we're going to be remembered for. What will people say, whether it was today or 20 years from now, what your legacy will be and what you want to be remembered by, and how you can make those moments, every little moment today, matter and be a part of your legacy. So that's all I have for you, all the updates. Hopefully I'll be able to make some more videos soon as it gets closer to surgery, or also perhaps after surgery. So that's it. Take care, guys.